Welcome to Commercial Studies for Grade 12. Today I would like us to look at Business Studies, Grade 12 lesson. On this lesson I'll be presenting the first chapter or the first module titled The Impact of Recent Legislation on Businesses. But the unit that I would like us to look at is Unit 1 or the first unit, the Skills Development Levy Act number 97 of 1998. The first thing that I would like us to look at is the purpose of this act. Why do we have this act in place? What goals are we trying to achieve by this act? What corrections are we trying to make using this act? So basically we are looking at the intention of this act, which is Skills Development Act. The first purpose or the first intention is to develop the skills of South Africans in order to improve productivity in the workplace. So basically, we are dealing with employees that do not have the required skills, or maybe they do have some skills, but we need as a country to advance or to improve those skills. Remember, once these employees have improved their skills, it means that even the quality of goods produced and the productivity as a whole will be effective simply because they know what they are doing. Then they will excel in what they are doing. They will apply the right knowledge, they will apply the right material so that a product that is being produced is the desired product by the market. It also allows employees, or rather companies, to improve the skills of their workers. It means that it gives businesses an opportunity to train their employees, or rather to send their employees to facilities where they are going to be trained, rather than employing new workers, but advancing or improving the skills of existing employees so that they get promoted, or rather they are in a better position of getting jobs that requires skilled employees. It also seen as an investment in education and training of the South African workforce, meaning that businesses and government, they're in a partnership in making sure that an amount of money is spent to our workforce, to our South Africans, so that they could go and be trained, or rather and get trained, so that they are able to be productive in that particular workplace. The purposefully redress imbalances of the past through education and training. It means that this particular act, it intentionally, or rather its intention is to make sure or to eradicate the imbalances so that even black people or people who were previously disadvantaged, they could also get the same opportunities regarding of their skin colors, regarding of their background, but to be a country that is, or rather where you will see a balance, or a country where you will see opportunities being offered or being available or made available to everyone regardless of their socio-economic status. It also improves the job prospects of previously disadvantaged people. By what? Simply because these particular employees will now possess the required skills. Remember, it's pointless for us as a South African market to have employees who do not have skills that are required by the labor market, because as a country we won't grow. As a country we will be relying on buying goods from other countries because we do not possess or we do not have these particular skills. Lastly, the purpose provide systematic implementation of strategies on national, sector, and workplace basis. So here it provides an implementation. Remember, the government strategy is to make sure that inequality is reduced or diminished by empowering those who were previously disadvantaged. So we are using, or rather government is using, SDA or Skills Development Act to make sure that there is a system application or systematic application of these particular strategies on the national level and on different sectors, and also that will be benefits on the workplace basis. Now let us look at the impact of the SDA on a business. So we are looking at how does this act affect South African businesses. Is it affecting them on the positive side or positive manner or negative manner? By positive manner, we are referring to advantages. What are business exactly achieving or gaining from the Skills Development Act? But with negatives, we are looking at disadvantages with regards to why, or rather, are companies gaining or suffering, or rather at a disadvantage when it comes to this particular Skills Development Act. So here we are looking at advantages. The first advantage is that it increases the number of skilled employees with scarce skills. Remember, we are also trying to address the issue of scarcity of skills, meaning that you will have your employees being trained in such a way that they are able to gain skills that as a country we are short of. So it will increase the number of skilled employees, of which it's a good thing for us as a country to have more skilled employees, more equipped employees with knowledge and practical experience of what they are doing. The second one, it improves productivity in the workplace. It improves productivity in the workplace in such a way that it's not just only about quantity being produced or high number of quantities being produced, but also the quality. It must be produced, meaning that we will be producing good quality of goods, yet again in large quantities within the workplace, which will result in that particular business or company achieving more higher profits. By it achieving more higher profits, it means that that particular company will grow financially, and once this particular company is growing financially, it means that it can also employ more people. It can also absorb more people who are unemployed here in South Africa. The third one, it increases global competitiveness of South African businesses. Remember, the economy, or rather here in South Africa, we are not just competing, or rather South African businesses are not just competing amongst themselves, but they are also competing with other countries. So some countries are well known of producing certain goods and rendering certain services. So it will also help us as South Africans to uplift our status, and for us to be well known of producing most of the goods, producing them in high volumes, producing in it, or rather those goods in good quality. So internationally, we will be recognized for being able to produce most of products here that will be produced locally and be sold abroad. So in economic terms, those particular products that will be sold abroad will be referring to exports. By export, will be transferring goods or selling goods on an international market, so that we are going to be able to gain advantage of the financial market or of the exchange rates. It also improves the return on investment in education and training. As a company, you will gain financially. Remember, you were investing when you were taking your employees to these particular training facilities. But now, through productivity, you are able to also gain financially and gain quality wise and gain when it comes to quantity being produced. So it will be seen as a return on your investment. By investment, what was done previously, where the state was deducting an amount for skills development levy so that your employees could be sent for these particular trainings. Lastly, it also improves the delivery of services of businesses because are working on an optimal level. So meaning that goods are being produced faster because we are having people who are experts when it comes to producing those particular goods, and the number of rejects will be reduced because we are now having skilled employees. There will be less wastages because of the skilled employees. Then lastly, let us look at the disadvantages. The first disadvantage is that the implementation of the SDA is time consuming, expensive, and administrative burdensome. So it means that for a particular business to be able to implement the SDA properly, it will be time consuming. Remember, not all businesses have the right, or rather the large number of employees. So you will have that they have just few employees, and on those few employees, maybe they are having a lot to do on the daily basis, so that it will be time consuming and a lot of administration that will need to be done, of which these particular hindrances could result in this particular act not being implemented properly to the best benefits of the employees. The skills development levy places an additional burden on financial struggling businesses. Also, again, it will require that this particular business they spend financially, and this particular business should have some measures to make sure that they are able to control, administer all these provisions stipulated by the SDA. The SDA is a government initiative that may not be supported by all businesses. So some businesses won't participate when it comes to the SDA for whatever reason it may be, of which it will make this particular act as a government initiative not being implemented, or rather not being welcomed in such a way that all employees that who are unskilled can be able to have access to the facilities, or rather to take advantage of this particular opportunity for them to better their skills. Business finding it difficult to monitor and control the implementation of this act. So some businesses, due to maybe their short staff, so what will happen is that they won't be able to have proper control or proper monitoring situation where they are able to monitor it on a daily basis, weekly basis, because if this implementation is not well monitored, the company might not get the required or the desired results. So it is important for a company to be able to monitor and control such implementation, as it will benefit employees and the company itself at the end. Productivity in the workplace may decline. So some companies might experience a drop or a decline when it comes to productivity, meaning that some employees, or rather most of the employees, will spend more time doing what? Being trained or attending some kinds of training, learnership, so that they fully utilize, or they are fully exposed to this particular learnership or training. So for them not being in the workplace for some days or most of the days, it will cause some decline when it comes to productivity, when it comes to revenue, and when it comes to the company meeting its deadlines by satisfying what? Your demand using your supply. But also again, it cannot be overlooked that the fact is it is done for a good reason. Lastly, there is a limitation where only businesses with a staff payroll of over 500,000 per annum can claim the SDL, meaning that if your business is not making, or rather with the payroll of staff is just less 500,000, your company cannot claim the skills development levy. It means that they will only be charged the skills development levy, but they cannot claim skills development levy as per the provisions or as per the stipulations of the skills development levy. This is the end, or rather, we have come to the end of this particular lesson, or part one of the Skills Development Levy Act. Stay tuned for the next, or rather, part two of this particular lesson.